Welcome to LSC. It's Sports Time. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Today I have with me Jontel Evans, former basketball and football player over at Bethel High School, and then went on to UVA. Glad to have you in here today.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
Listen, we've talked before, and I got to see you when you were over at Bethel, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. But when you first started playing ball, you were just a little kid, about 7 years old?
Yeah, a little boy just running around, a little kid just trying to do whatever.
But did your parents encourage you, just keep you out of trouble to play sports?
Yeah,
or what?
basically, my parents and, my aunt, which deserves credit, when we first moved here, she took me and my cousin, Robert Preston, to Aberdeen Athletic Association.
Okay.
And since then, we've been into sports in the city of Hampton ever since
Okay,
then.
where'd you move from?
I moved from, we was military.
Okay.
So we were living in Germany, but we moved to Pennsylvania while my parents, my mom and dad were here getting stuff situated. Then we moved down to Hampton, Virginia, and that's when they decided we needed to get into sports.
What branch of the military was your dad in?
My father was in Air Force.
Air Force. So was he stationed at Langley?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so and a lot of people end up here that have gone through the military, especially Air Force, and they stay in Hampton. They like this area.
They do. A lot of people do like this area. They move here and just end up staying.
Well, you had a nickname your grandma gave you. What was that?
It was Lightning.
Lightning.
When I was little, she called me that because she said I was so fast and quick. I used to run around the house, run outside, run away from my older cousins, my big sister, and all that.
They couldn't catch you.
They couldn't catch me.
Lightning, I love it. Well, now you grew up playing all sports. Basically, you played some baseball.
Nah, no baseball.
No baseball, but just football and basketball for the most part. At the beginning, which one was the one that you enjoyed the most?
I really enjoyed both of them. At a young age, I really didn't know, what I was going to do. They both were very fun to me, so it wasn't one that was better than the other. I enjoyed both of them the same. Well,
where did you start off? Would you start over in Aberdeen? Is that where you started?
Yeah, I started off in Aberdeen. My aunt took me and my cousin there to sign up and play, and I've been playing with them ever since. Okay,
now, but you also played through Tide Mill, right? Out there. Now, football, were you always a running back?
No, actually, I started off as a slot/receiver for Aberdeen.
Because your quickness?
Yeah, quickness. And plus, they already had guys that, they wanted for that position. So, and I was a new guy out there, new to the town. They really didn't know me. So.
Hey, who cares? When you're that age, you just want to play.
Yeah, you just want to play.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I've had running backs in there that said, well, I started off, I was a tackle. So, you just want to play. So you ended up being a running back after your first year. But now in basketball, were you always a ball handler or?
Yeah, I was, since day one, since I picked up the ball, that's what I've been able to do is ball handler, point guard, nothing more, nothing else.
What got you into the ball handler? What was some of the drills and stuff that you did as a kid? Maybe not drills, but just stuff you worked on to improve your ball handling skills.
I know my dad used to just make me, dribble with my left hand, my weak hand, and up and down the street, both hands, and just, he constantly drilled that into me, like, you got to be able to handle the ball. So I just took that upon myself to make sure that was my strong suit.
And let me tell you a quick story. Howard White, who ended up playing University of Maryland, is now with Nike. When I was coaching at Buckrow, he had no left hand. And we overplayed him. So we made him go to the left. And we beat him in junior high school. But when he got to high school next year, it was like, all of a sudden he dribbled a tennis ball all summer with his left hand. And he was completely different. So I can see where your dad was coming. You got to be able to use both hands. Who are some of the guys that you played with when you were growing up at that age?
It was a lot. Everybody that went through, that was in the Peninsula District. I played against.
Were there some of the guys that went to Bethel, some to other schools?
Yeah, some went to other schools. Some went to Hampton, Phoebus, everywhere. I played against everybody. Trying to think of, Bill Weaver. That played at Bethel with me, Teddy Baycoat, Tevin Swan, Tyrod Taylor. I played against all those guys, when we was growing up and stuff. So.
Right. So, and these are people, people know now.
Yeah, they're well known, so.
So, well, then you got to middle school, and you got into the 8th grade, and you went over to Bethel, played JVs and basketball only. Did you? Is that the year you took off on football?
Yeah, it was just becoming. I've been doing it on every year since I was around 7. And I just decided, me and my parents, my mom was just like, just take a break. I was like, okay, I'll take a break from football and just, play basketball this year. And that's what I did. And then in 9th grade, that's when I went back to playing both.
Back to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your football coach over there?
At Bethel?
At Bethel, yeah.
Dan Richards.
Dan Richards, okay. And then there would running back. And a good running back. and you got scholarships offered in football, but your love had to be basketball, and you explained it to me.
Yeah.
You say football season goes from August to November, and then what happens?
Basketball, November to August.
So you got a lot. So you just worked it, and it just became a passion of yours. And talk a little bit about going through not only basketball, but football over at Bethel High School.
Football at Bethel, it was a transition because rectally, I was well known.
Right.
But when I got to Bethel, I had to redefine myself. So a lot of guys, they knew who I was, but they didn't really. I don't think they respected.
Well, they didn't know your talent.
Yeah,
really.
They didn't know my talent.
Right.
So when I got there, I just was like, I'm gonna earn my keep, and that's what I did. JV year, I went out there. I practiced hard, played hard, and I put up some stats, and I opened up a couple eyes, and then my sophomore year is when I really took off.
Right. Then talk about basketball. Then you started over there. You started playing as a freshman.
Yeah.
Which is, you'll see that happen, but not that often.
Yeah.
When you have a freshman that ends up playing a lot, and you did.
Well, in 8th grade, I played JV, and I remember it was towards the end of the season. Coach Ernie Marshall, he came to me after practice, was like, Coach Breon is very fond of you. He's thinking about moving you up next year to play varsity. And me, I was excited. I'm like, man,
wow.
I'm a freshman.
One of my dreams.
Playing with a legendary coach, under him, and it was just all so surreal. And then when 9th grade hit, it was just like, and he called me down in his office, told me I was on the team. It was just, I couldn't believe it, but it was still shocking. But that year was fun. I had a lot of great players on that team. Learned a lot. They definitely, made me a tough player. So.
Right. Tell me about some of those the upperclassmen when you were a freshman.
Well, the guy I was playing behind was Adrian Webb. He was a great point guard.
Right.
Terry Thomas. His name is well known around here. Duke Cruz, Jamel McLean, James
Right.
Scott, Ivan Harris. All those guys. They were big influences on my freshman year. They taught me a lot.
Okay, and that's what I was trying to get at, because you learn not only from your coaches, but you learn from your teammates, especially those that are older than you. They kind of mentor you, whether they're meaning to or not, but they're helping you out because they know what's best for the team.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to switch back and forth, but I want to go back to football because you had a heck of a junior year in football.
Thank you.
Really, to talk a little bit about that. I mean, these are things that you get to for the rest of your life, and we got films of it, and you people say, when you get old, man, say, look at my grandpa.
But no, my junior year was a good one, as people would say. I think we had a new coach, Coach Jeff Nelson. He came in there and just revitalized the whole Bethel program, gave us something to play for, gave us hope that we can play, after high school. And, he had the right system, had the right mindset, and, he changed our mindsets, and we went out there, we shocked a lot of people.
Yeah, because, and a lot of people didn't expect that, but I went back and I remember talking to Coach Nelson, and you could tell that what he was trying to instill was great for the program over at Bethel. And you guys really responded to it, which was just fantastic. Now, you get to your senior year, and you've had some great years, and you're thinking, okay, next level. So you start getting recruited.
Yeah.
Talk about the recruiting process, because it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it's different. In the beginning, it's exciting, it's fun, it's new. But as it continues to go on, it becomes stressful. You come home from practice, you do your homework, you get done, you just want to chill, you just want to go to sleep. But then you constantly have coaches calling you left and right, trying to sell their program to you.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was fun at first, but as it continued, it just became a headache. It was like, oh man, let me hurry up and make a choice, a decision of where I want to play. But like I said in the beginning, it's very fun. You know, you got colleges like, oh, you know,
It's a new thing.
Yeah,
new
this school
experience.
called me. Tell your friends, this school called me. They want me. I'm getting recruited. It's fun. But then, like, as
Then
it
the
continues,
stress factor gets in,
Yes.
and people don't realize that there is a stress factor
It
involved. Because you get to where you almost know these guys because you talk to them so much on the phone. You hate to say, no, I'm not coming there,
Yeah.
you know. But before we get to finish the recruiting thing, you told me something that I thought was very interesting, that you went to summer school to make sure you kept your GPA up. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, one summer before my sophomore year, I was going to go out for the football team, but Coach Tracy Parker, I guess he looked over the grades from our freshman year, and he was just like, you know, he has to take this class to be eligible. So he talked to my mom, and it was kind of like towards the end of like summer school. So we found we went to Heritage where they was having summer school courses, and I ended up taking a class to, you know, make me eligible for that upcoming year. But, you know, summer school is great for people, you know, especially athletes like, you know, in this area, if they want to go on to play, you know, college level,
Right.
because the first 2 years of your high school career, that's what really counts. If I would have knew that, you know, back then, I would have took it a lot more serious.
But you're more mature now. Well, you weren't that mature back your first couple
I
of years.
wasn't. I just wanted to play. I was just like, man.
It's like rec league,
Yeah.
only it's a little bit better.
Yeah.
The kids are better, the athletes are better, and everything. But now you also got recruited for football. NC State was probably the big ACC school after you. And what were they offering? Were they offering you the running back position, or what was?
Yeah, every school that offered me was just to play running back, and
Okay.
like you said, that was my biggest offer. You know, NC State, and then I had a couple of mid majors like Akron, you know, ODU, and a couple others. But
Right.
I just
But football was not your main love. Basketball was your main
Yeah.
love. You could see that on the basketball court. The intensity you had, the desire to play. What sold you on UVA? Because that's not the only school that recruited you for basketball.
No, what sold me, you know, was the people up there, you know, the town, the college, the academics, and plus, you know, I'm a Virginia kid, and I know a lot of people wanted to see me play, so
Right.
I decided, you know, to go there because it wasn't too far from the Hampton area, and my parents could
They
come
could
there
come and see you. Right. Now, you get to UVA, brand new school, new people, we're talking good athletes, not just one or two good, but we're talking 5 good athletes on the floor, both teams.
Man.
What was your experience like the first practice you walked in?
Man, well, that first summer I went there for summer school, man, that first week, you know, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to come back home. I did not want to be there. I wasn't happy. You know, I was just like, this isn't for me. It was tough. You know, I had to meet new people, new coaches,
Right.
new scenery. But, you know, as the summer went on, you know, it got a little better. But when the school year started, that's when I started feeling, okay, you know, maybe I have to step outside my box. You know, go
Right.
meet people.
Even though it's not comfortable.
Yeah,
You
even
have
though it's
to
not
make that
comfortable.
move.
Yeah, you definitely do.
You can't be in comfort zone all your life.
You can't be antisocial, and I learned that very fast. So when the school year came, you know, I opened up more to my coaches, my teammates, and you know, people outside of basketball, and you know, in the Charlottesville
But
area.
you think because you were by yourself and there was not somebody else that you could talk to that was right there, like a roommate or something, and then you just had to say, okay, I got to find the people that I can communicate with.
Yeah, you know, I had to, because at first, you know, my roommate, he was from that area, so he wasn't really in the room anyway. And I was so used to people around here, you know, this area, it was just like, it was so many different, you know, personalities up there. It was very diverse up there, and it was just something I had to adjust to. And I did. You know, it took a summer for me to adjust to everything.
Well, and that was good to go to summer. That would have been bad that happening during the fall.
Yeah.
Because then it even gets more stressful. Say, oh my.
Yeah, it would have been.
Now, maybe you can shed some light on, we have so many great athletes from this area that excel not only in basketball, but in football, in baseball, in track. And why do you think that is? Do you think it's the coaching? Do you think it's the mentality that the kids say, everybody else I can do because others have done it?
I think it's both. You know, it's definitely the coaching. We have a lot of great coaches here.
Right.
But I think it's the people that, you know, paved the way for that was here before us, that paved the way for us.
Okay.
You know, like when I was growing up, you know, you had Ronald Curry's, Tony Rutland's, Allen Iverson's. You know, when we were growing up, we was like, those guys can make it. You know, we can make it. We wanted to be better than them, so that's why we pushed ourselves so hard, you know, to try to be better.
That's the key that I wanted to hear you say. That you said, okay, they're good, but I could probably be better. So you push yourself, and I think that's part of the reason that we end up with some great athletes there. But now you get to UVA, you're a freshman, and you start.
Yeah, it was the 10th game of the season, and it was the shoot around, and Coach McKay said, you know, you're starting tonight. And I was just like, I looked down at funny. I said, this is an ACC game. This is a conference game. You said on what? He said, yeah, you're starting, so be ready. And I remember I left the shoot around, and I was in the car with my mom and dad, and I told them. He stopped the car, and they both looked in the back seat like, are you for real? I'm like, yeah, I'm starting. And then came out there against Miami. It was electric. You know, sold out my first start. I think we ended up winning by like 17. And it was a great start.
Well, and this has got to be, I just can imagine the goosebumps that go through when you walk out, the first time that you walked out up at Jones Arena, and the crowd, and you're talking home crowd, so everybody loves you there.
Yeah, like my teammates used to tell me, because, you know, when you have play against the out-of-conference schedule, you know, the fans aren't really there, but when you get in the conference, it's just like, it's a different story. And they used to tell me it's going to be sold out, 15,000. I was like, yeah, I'm used to crowds, but not like that. That type of venue, that type of crowd, it was ridiculous.
All right, now you're going away. Now you're going into basically the Bears' den. Yeah. You're going down to Carolina. You're going to Duke. You're going to Miami. I mean, they're not happy with you down there.
No, they're not happy at all. But I'm kind of glad that I played in the Peninsula District, because it's kind of the same, you know, probably not as big as the venue, but it's kind of the same. When we used to go away, it was people at other gyms, you know, taunting us, trying to get us off our game.
Right.
So it kind of prepared me a little bit.
Okay.
But not as much, because they say some terrible things to you. They do their research and they try to get in your head. They don't care who you are. They'll say it. And going against, you know, playing in Cameron indoor is ridiculous. I'm glad I got to play, you know, playing in Chapel Hill.
Now you can look back at it and say, what an experience.
A great experience.
But the first time you went down there had to be, what in the world have I gotten into, right?
I was nervous. You know, they have some great fans. They're very passionate about the game of basketball and their team, and it was just a great experience. At first, I was really nervous my first time in there, you know, because I heard so many stories about how crazy it is.
Wow. So, you know, to me, your story is one that I like to be told, because a lot of kids need to understand that if you work hard, if you persevere, you make sure you got your grades right, you get to the school where you can excel, then you're going to have experiences that some people just never get.
Exactly.
And it's not because they don't have the ability, but you have to take your ability and you've got to mold it and make it even better. Yeah. And that's what you did. I can be better than Iverson. I can be better than Curry.
Yeah.
See, and that's a great thing. Now there's little kids that say, I can be better than Jontel.
Yeah, I want them to be better than me so they can get out of here.
Before you talk about the experience of the 4 years at UVA.
It was unbelievable. I can truly say that I'm not the same person that I was coming into that summer school session.
Right.
My first summer there. You know, I've grown tremendously on and off the court, and I owe a lot to my coaching staff, my teammates there, the students I met there, the faculty there, and just the whole community of Charlottesville.
Right. And see, and it's just not basketball court.
It's not.
You're talking about the whole experience, the college experience, and that's I think is an important thing. Now you got your degree in
anthropology.
Okay, and now you're working, but you're got your eye on maybe going over to Europe or the Far East or something and playing, and you're working out. Talk a little bit about that, because I know you're working at Bethel, but you're also working over in Pocosin.
Yeah, actually right now I have a steady job, but other than that, I'm working out still with basketball. My trainer, Rodney Shields, is working me out. He's been working with me for the last 6 months, you know, just trying to get me in shape and trying to get me, you know, somewhere to be playing by the end of the summer.
Right. And then when we went to do to talk to the coaches over to Bethel, and I'm talking to Coach Breon, and we're just getting the lineups and all the stuff, and I looked out and here's Jontel Evans. What's he doing? You're helping coach. Is this something maybe in the future that you would like to do?
Everybody asks me that, and I think it is something that I'm going to keep in my back pocket. You know, I think playing under Coach Bennett and playing under Coach Breon, I've learned, you know, some of the techniques to, you know, manage the game and stuff like that. And I'm definitely going to keep, you know, coaching in the back of my mind.
Well, being a point guard, though, I think that you almost like a coach on the court. You have to kind of orchestrate what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that can lead to being a good coach because not only of your experience there, but you're learning from Coach Bennett, you're learning from Coach Breon and Coach Baycoat and all those other coaches that have touched your life growing up.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing. Did you feel like he was able to identify with the kids over at Bethel when you was coaching over there?
Yeah, because a lot of them, I played with their brothers.
Right.
So I've known them for a while, and so they can kind of relate to me. And the age difference is, you know, not that far off. So I feel like I could relate to them a lot.
Well, I appreciate you coming in, Ben. This has been fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. I want to thank you for tuning in to LSC and Sports Time. I want to thank my special guest, Jontel Evans. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Until next time.